David Bowie, and a very warm welcome.
Being an artist in any way, any nature, is a kind of a sign of a certain kind of dysfunction, a social dysfunctionalism anyway. It's an extraordinary thing to want to do, to express yourself in such rarefied terms.
David Bowie made his first big splash in the early 1970s with Space-Archetype and imagined a conversation between an astronaut and his ground control team. He shifted guises from album to album and perpetually kept fans and critics guessing about his next move. In an era of who cares what I look like musicians, Bowie helped bring a dramatic sense of showmanship and theatricality to rock music.
I had it in my mind that I would be a creator of musicals. I sincerely wanted to write musicals for the West End and for Broadway, whatever. I didn't see much further than that. As a writer, and I really had the idea in my head that people would do my songs. And I was not a natural performer. I didn't feel at ease on stage, ever. And I had created this one character, Ziggy Stardust, that it seemed that I would be the one that would play him because nobody else was doing my songs, and the chances of my actually getting a musical mounted were very slim. And so I became Ziggy Stardust for that period.
He saw music as narrative, and the invention of characters became part of his creative style. Later, he lamented that these made-up personas were mistaken for signs of personal transformation.
I'm not sure if I was ever successful in that, because I do take a degree of theatricality when I go on stage all the time. That's how I deal with the stage situation. I'm still not comfortable on stage.
David Bowie was considered a fashion icon, and his influence is still being felt. Clothes fit him well, and his constantly changing persona allowed him to wear whatever caught his fancy. But his style was all his own, no matter how many times it was changing.
Create an idea of how to expand rock and expand the horizons of it, and I took as the alien form for Ziggy, as he was supposed to be an alien of some kind. I based him very much on a Japanese concept. At that particular time in the early 70s, we knew so little about Japan, and Japan really hadn't exploited itself and brought its stuff over to the West, so it still seemed like an alien society, but it was a human alien society, so you could make a human connection to Japan far more than you could say to Mars, which would be, just beyond.
David Bowie's legacy impacted countless people, spawning movements and genres of all kinds. He is credited as one of the creators of Glam Rock, while simultaneously inspiring the earliest incarnations of the punk scene.
No, I think love is very important for my writing. If I'm getting stuck, if I'm in a corner with a song or a piece of work and I've blanked out and I can't approach it anyway, I always go back to things that John said or things that Brian Eno said to me. I mean, he was also very helpful in terms of opening me up as a writer and changing my ideas about how I can write songs. The American musician Little Richard. I think it would be extremely pompous for any rock artist to say that black music probably wasn't the mattress from where all other forms of popular music spring from. One of the few things that musically really cheered me up. I think I probably am in the same kind of position. I'm David Bowie, and I'm either good, I'm a pile of shit, or I'm accessible and not accessible, I'm obscure, very commercial. I change all the time, but I'm still me, Whether you want to make music because you want to make the music, or whether you want to use the music to obtain fame, if you want to use it to become famous, then you just be shallow and it'll be superfluous, But if you're doing it because you want to do the music, when fame comes out of it, that's a whole different thing.
Let's stick with the music. His influence can be felt in nearly every genre out there. Take hip-hop, for example. Bowie's music has been sampled by more artists and producers than you'd care to count. David Bowie is also considered the ultimate outsider. Thousands of young people struggling with their identities looked up to him as a beacon of hope and change. It made them feel more accepted. Bowie is also known as a boundary pusher in music, fashion, and technology. With that being said, thank you for watching and thank you for listening.
Heroes, again, well, I can't escape the fact that that very much was Berlin for me at that period. I mean, the changes there, so substantial, so awe-inspiring. I get one. Still very hard to take in that that's happened over there. It's in such a fun. When I was living there, there was no doubt in anybody's minds that that wall was going to be there for at least the next 50 years. I don't know what I thought I was expanding, but I guess I just wanted to experience everything. I think I was aesthetically promiscuous.